revolution. A tiny machine, a single drop of blood, dozens of tests, done instantly. No needles, no labs, just a futuristic device in every Walgreens pharmacy. And at the center, a young blonde woman in a black turtleneck. Elizabeth Holmes was called the next Steve Jobs, the youngest self-made billionaire, a genius reinventing healthcare. Except it was all a lie. Theranos wasn't a breakthrough. It was a biotech illusion. And when the smoke cleared, patients were misdiagnosed. Investors lost hundreds of millions, and one man was dead.
Elizabeth Holmes, once compared to Steve Jobs, now found guilty of 4 counts of criminal fraud.
Today, we're telling the story of the biggest scam in medical tech history, the rise and fall of Theranos, and how Elizabeth Holmes fooled the world. In 2003, 19-year-old Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford. She believed blood testing was slow, expensive, and outdated, and she had an idea to fix it. Her vision? A tiny, sleek device called the Edison. It would take a few drops of blood from a finger prick, then instantly run dozens of tests, detecting anything from cholesterol to cancer.
Today, together, we are taking the first step toward making healthcare accessible to everyone in this country.
By 2014, Theranos was worth $9 billion. Holmes was on magazine covers. Investors lined up. Rupert Murdoch, the Walton family, Betsy DeVos. Even General Mattis joined the board. Walgreens invested $140 million to put Theranos devices in stores nationwide.
She hasn't continued working on her research and inventions from behind bars, saying that she's committed to her dream of making affordable healthcare solutions available to everyone.
The partner of Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes has raised millions of dollars for an artificial intelligence startup.
But there was one problem. The technology didn't work.
First they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world.
Theranos was more than a startup. It was a fortress. No one knew how the machine worked. No one outside the company was allowed to see the data. The Edison kept giving wildly inaccurate results. So internally, they used third-party lab machines like Siemens analyzers, but pretended it was all coming from the Edison. Test results went out to patients. Some were told they had cancer. Others were told they were pregnant when they weren't. The risks weren't just financial. They were personal, they were medical, and they were deadly. Employees who raised questions were silenced. Some were fired, others were sued, but not everyone stayed quiet. In 2015, John Kerry Rue, a reporter at the Wall Street Journal, published an investigation that changed everything. He interviewed former Theranos staff, including Tyler Schultz, a young lab worker, and revealed the truth. Theranos wasn't testing with its own machines, and it was covering it up. Then there was Ian Gibbons, Theranos' chief scientist. He knew the devices didn't work. He feared test results could hurt people, but he was isolated, ignored, and under intense pressure. In 2013, just before he was due to testify about the company's failures, Ian Gibbons took his own life. That was the first body Theranos left behind, a brilliant scientist driven to suicide by a company that silenced the truth. But it might not have been the last, because for every false test result Theranos delivered, real lives were on the line. Imagine this: you have cancer, but the device says you're healthy. So you walk away, relieved, unaware the disease is growing inside you. Or maybe it tells you you're sick when you're not, and you start treatment you never needed. We'll never know the full number of people who were misdiagnosed, mistreated, or simply never told the truth. But when science is faked and medicine is reduced to marketing, someone always pays the price. And in Theranos' case, that price wasn't just money, it was trust, time, health, and possibly lives. A quick break to thank our sponsor before we continue with the fallout. If you want automated systems that don't lie, cheat, or fake results, meet The Alchemist. It's a plug-and-play trading robot for MetaTrader 4, scanning currency pairs for high-probability setups and executing trades 100% on autopilot. No guesswork, just smart, algorithmic trading with 24/7 support. Click the link in the description and use code Biotech at checkout for 10% off. Now let's get back to the rise and crash of Theranos. The moment the truth came out, it all unraveled fast. The FDA investigated. Walgreens ended its partnership. The CMS revoked Theranos' lab license. Employees were laid off by the hundreds. In 2016, Theranos announced that it would void all blood test results run on its machines between 2014 and 2015. In other words, they officially admitted that the test results from their core technology couldn't be trusted. So they told doctors and patients to disregard them entirely. This included tens of thousands of tests. Patients had been using these results to make serious medical decisions about medication, surgeries, even cancer treatment. And suddenly, Theranos said, yeah, forget all of that. The results were wrong. Finally, in 2018, Theranos was officially dissolved. And in 2021, the U.S. charged Elizabeth Holmes and COO Sunny Balwani with multiple counts of fraud. They weren't just accused of misleading investors. They were charged with endangering lives. In court, Holmes tried everything. She claimed she didn't know. She blamed her COO. She said she was emotionally manipulated, but the jury didn't buy it. In 2022, Holmes was convicted on 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy. She was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in prison. Balwani got nearly 13 years, and as of 2023, she owes $452 million in restitution, but no amount of money will undo the damage. Theranos isn't just a failed startup story, it's a warning. Because Holmes didn't fool amateurs. She fooled doctors, investors, generals, and even U.S. secretaries of state. She used the language of science without showing any data. She sold hope without proof. And in the end, real people, patients, paid the price. This wasn't a scam about money. It was a scam about trust. Elizabeth Holmes promised a revolution. What she delivered was deception. And in an age where biotech, AI, and medicine are moving faster than ever, we must ask the question, who's checking the truth behind the technology? Because when one person's ambition overrides science, when hype replaces evidence, and when the lab is locked away behind NDAs, that's not innovation. That's danger. Thanks for watching. Stay skeptical, stay sharp, and until then, I will see you in the next one.